Well, it's a lot of chitter-chatter going on out here. A lot of people talking about Deshaun Watson. A lot of people got opinions. First it was Brett Favre. Now it's some coach from the good old days. We'll talk about that. Patrick Mahomes being compared to Michael Jordan? We'll talk about that too. And oh, by the way, somebody got a book out talking about LeBron and the Lakers. Talking about Paul George instead of Kawhi Leonard. We'll talk about that too. All that and more coming up. First Takes in the house. And what time is it?
So this is a lot of stuff that in team meetings that I write down. Super Bowl environment is all about hype.
This is our moment.
Ridiculous bull that will go on.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Amazing, we got it. We got it, baby.
When we went into the season, we weren't talking about going to the Super Bowl. We were talking about winning it again.
We're built for moments like these. How about those?
Makes the catch. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
He's not trying to pass the torch anytime soon.
League MVP, Super Bowl championship. There's not many guys that have done that.
Super Bowl, baby.
Super Bowl 55 matchup doesn't get much better than that. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman. I'm Molly Karam Rose. Good morning, gentlemen. I want to start with an interesting story, fellas, involving the Chiefs. So 20 players and staff members, Patrick Mahomes being one of them, were in line to get a haircut with a barber who tested positive for COVID-19. That, according to Adam Schefter. Let me continue here. So backup Chiefs center Daniel Kilgore was in the chair when the Chiefs pulled the barber once his COVID-19 test results came in. Schefter reported Kilgore and the barber both were wearing masks, and because Kilgore was deemed a close contact, he told the barber to finish. A source had initially told ESPN that Kilgore was mid-haircut when the barber was pulled. Max, we just need to react to this quickly for a second. You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, that's right. The story about the salon. Do you guys remember this a couple months back with the 3 women who worked in the salon and they tested positive for COVID? And they'd seen over 100 people, 100 clients over a certain time period, and either very few or none. It was like it was a success story. Had COVID. Very few had contracted it because the 3 women had worn masks. And they follow protocol, Stephen A. And what we've seen is that is very, very helpful in stopping the spread because the particles that come out of your mouth when you talk, the louder, the more you talk in a closed space, the less air there is. So the more kind of stuff that's coming out of your mouth is a proportion of what's around you. That infects other people. Your mask is not there to protect you. It's there to protect the other person. Their mask is there to protect you. So Stephen A., what happened here, you can contract COVID accidentally, even if you do everything right. And the point is to take precautions to lower the risk as much as possible. Stephen A., it seems like that's what was done here.
Well, listen, I don't know if y'all can hear me or not because I can't hear y'all right now, some technical difficulties. But let me tell you this, just in case you can hear me, all right? Listen, here's the deal, okay? We got to take COVID-19 seriously. We understand that. But I also want to applaud the NFL because you had the safety protocol measures in place. Nobody was in violation of those things. The barber obviously tested positive, and as a result, people who were on the list didn't get a haircut, so they weren't exposed. And anybody like Kilgore, others who were exposed, are being quarantined. We get all of that, and we shouldn't have any players missing a game because of the barbershop. But for those out there that want to be critical of these athletes, I would like to say this. Haircuts are very, very important. Some of these brothers need it. They need it bad. Okay, they need it very, very bad. Now, I'm sitting there. I'm not making light of it. I'm only making light of the situation because there's no positive test outside of the barber, and we wish him well. But I'm just saying, for people out there that saying, damn, the Super Bowl is coming up, even though I'm an advocate of staying the hell away from everybody because you can't risk missing the Super Bowl, haircuts are very, very important. And some dudes desperately need them. Patrick Mahomes would be one of those people, by the way. He kind of needs a haircut from time to time, okay? He does. LeBron, if LeBron decided to get a haircut, I support that. Absolutely. Kevin Durant. I support that. Odell Beckham Jr. got the line going on or whatever. But sometimes, I mean, well, he really don't need a haircut. He need a hairdo. A different kind of hairdo. One would say, that's my brother. I love him. But I'm just making fun of him.
Molly.
I'm just saying this up here. Hey, and by the way,
I know.
me. Now, see, Max, I don't need a haircut. I need a hairline. There's a difference. There's two different things, okay? I need a hairline. Okay, not a haircut. All right, my haircut is fine. The hairline.
Stephen A. is just going to have a little patch of hair in the back and go get that lined up.
There we go. Yo, hair club for men, here I come. Hair club for men, here I come.
Stephen
All
A.,
I'm trying to say is that
great, especially for your age.
All
right, I just have to say one thing.
It's very important, Molly. It's very important. Like, see, some
a little patch,
beautiful women such as yourself, beautiful women such as yourself, you know, you take care of yourself in the whole bit, and obviously we assume that it's just women that literally prioritize stuff like that. Oh, hell no. Men believe in barbers. My brother Marlon, my man Chris Brock from Philly, who now lives in Houston, my man Marlon in Long Island. It's mandatory. I got to have them. Because, again, I need the cut. Now, they can't do nothing about the line, Max. They can't do anything for me about the line.
You're doing
but
great.
I damn sure need a cut. Yes, I did.
I just
got
say
one a couple
thing.
of days ago.
The Kilgore picture was absolutely hilarious, but you know what stood out to me most from the story? I know how particular men are with their barber. I couldn't believe 20 guys were just getting a haircut by a random barber. Usually people are like flying their guy in, so specific.
No,
so
they can't.
That's what actually stood out to me in this story the most.
The NFL won't allow it, Molly. The NFL, to address safety protocols, they said, excuse me, you got to come into the bubble, you got to get tested, approved before you come in. So there is a barber that you have to use. And under those circumstances, we'll make exceptions. We go on the road. First Take is going on the road. I've had to get a haircut from a few people that I didn't want to get haircut from, and they made my lining worse, if that was possible. These are things that happen. You take those risks. It's necessary sometimes,
I'm real particular with this hair. All right.
There we go.
Let's keep it moving here, guys. And we're working on getting Louis Riddick with us as well. So let's get to the big game on Sunday. We'll talk about some football now. So Patrick Mahomes has certainly accomplished more in his first few years than most of the all-time greats have accomplished in their careers. Here's Chiefs CEO Clark Hunt on what he thinks of his superstar quarterback.
It's amazing the success that Patrick has had so early in his career. I mean, really, more so than Michael Jordan had early in his career. It took Michael a few years before he won his first championship, and Patrick in year one had us on the cusp of making the Super Bowl, and unfortunately the Patriots didn't let it happen that year. But we're just blessed to have him, and it's going to be a fun 10-plus year career for Patrick in Kansas City.
Sure are blessed to have him. Talk about an understatement. Oh, look who's here. Is that Tampa?
That man doesn't need a haircut.
Riddick of Monday Night Football fame with an excellent suit on. Good to see you. It's been way too long. He don't need a haircut. He's bald and beautiful,
at all.
Stephen A.
He's good.
Nope, he's just glowing in his natural element. I like that. Low maintenance. Stephen A., I want to start with you. Do you think it's fair, Stephen A., to compare Mahomes to MJ?
No, it's not. Mahomes is phenomenal. He's fantastic. He's a champion. We get all of that. Last time I checked, he doesn't play defense. He doesn't play special teams. When you look at Michael Jordan, it's just comparing apples and oranges. The fact of the matter is, when you're a basketball player, particularly a superstar basketball player, you can have more of an impact because you're playing on both ends of the court. You're playing offense and you're playing defense. We're talking about somebody in Michael Jordan that was all first team, all NBA defensive team 9 times on the defensive side of the ball. Forget the fact that he averaged over 30 and led the league in scoring at about 10 times. Or forget about that. Forget about the 6 championships, the 6 finals, MVPs, all of that stuff. We know what he could do offensively. But he also was dominant on the defensive end of the floor. That's not Patrick Mahomes. That's not any football player. And that's what we've got to take into consideration. Remember, we marveled at Bo Jackson, who not only played 2 sports, who played 2 sports, actually. We marveled at primetime Deion Sanders because he could play. He was the elite cornerback, the best to ever do it, but he also could play wide receiver, particularly when he was in Dallas. We marveled at stuff like that because it's such an aberration and it's something that you simply do not see in the sport of football. We have to take that into consideration. Patrick Mahomes is phenomenal. I'm not taking anything away from him. But let's stick to him as a quarterback. When we start talking about comparing him to MJ, I think that's going a bit too far. I don't subscribe to that theory at all.
it is fair to compare him to MJ so far. Because obviously we're not saying he plays defense. It's two different sports. And even a quarterback does not have as much sway on the success of his team as a superstar in the NBA. So in that sense, there'll never be a Michael Jordan of football, and there never really has been. Remember when we used to say who's the GOAT when we were kids? It was like Jerry Rice, I guess, but he's not a quarterback. And now it's Tom Brady, right?